Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Todd Barry tweeted, people defending Biden's debate performance saying everyone has a bad day, but they never add, even Todd Barry doesn't get a standing ovation every night. Jon Stewart was on after the debate Thursday night. John said, the one thing we did prove is that the MAGA conspiracy theory about Biden's upcoming debate performance was nonsense. Stewart then showed clips of conservatives claiming Biden would use performance-enhancing drugs to be charged up during the debate. John said, let me just say, after watching tonight's debate, both of these men should be using performance-enhancing drugs as many times a day as their bodies will allow. Performance-enhancing drugs that will improve their lucidity, their ability to solve problems, and in one of the candidates' cases, improve their truthfulness, morality, and malignant narcissism. Wonder who we meant. Whatever magical drugs that can kick their brains into gear, because this isn't Olympic swimming. Oh, he solved the Middle East, but he was doping, so it doesn't count. And if those drugs don't exist, if there aren't actual performance-enhancing drugs for these candidates, I could sure use some recreational ones right now because this cannot be real life. By the way, before I forget, the Ballot podcast is on fire. If you would like some snarky political news, kind of this minus comedy plus politics, sorta, kinda, 5-7 minutes a day. Check that out. Ballot, B-A-L-L-O-T. We've learned people don't know how to spell ballot. Ballot, wherever you get your shows. Stewart said, call the real estate agent in New Zealand. A lot of people have resting 25th Amendment face. Comedy Central, not making friends. You see, ComedyCentral.com had clips of every episode of The Daily Show since 1999 and the entire run of The Colbert Report, but last week, those clips are gone. Visitors to the Comedy Central site get a message. While episodes of most Comedy Central series are no longer available on this website, you can watch Comedy Central through your TV provider. You can also sign up for Paramount Plus to watch many seasons of Comedy Central shows. Lost in the Purge include shows like The Opposition with Jordan Klepper, The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore, the Chris Hardwick version of At Midnight, that's now After Midnight with Taylor, and Lights Out with David Spade. A spokesperson said, as part of a broader website change across Paramount, we've introduced more streamlined versions of our sites, driving fans to Paramount Plus to watch their favorite shows. Roy Wood Jr. tweeted, gotta bring back the bootleg DVD, man. This stuff ain't right. Doug Herzog, who headed Comedy Central back when The Daily Show was launched, reposted that statement from Roy Wood in an Instagram story and added a facepalm emoji to a screenshot of a news item about Paramount's gutting of the website. On Blue Sky, one of those Twitter alternatives, Daily Show writer and producer Daniel Radosh noted the show staff would regularly use the clip archive on the website. Hey, for extra fun, guess what was the only way for people who still work at the show to find old clips that are important to have in the course of producing said show? Tim Carvell, an executive producer with John Oliver and a 10-year Daily Show veteran, also on Blue Sky. I guess the Daily Show people are against Twitter and they're on Blue Sky. Is anyone on Blue Sky? I have an account somewhere. I don't use it. 2002, careful kids, the internet is forever. 2024, oh hey, all the work you did for a decade of your life was just deleted from the internet for business reasons. Timeout. That is the reason I created this podcast. As you've heard me say over the years, I ran SiriusXM Comedy for 10 years. That part of my career, I don't control. This podcast, whether you like it or not, apparently if you listen to me, you like it, it's mine. People could say it sucks, but it's mine. No one can take it away from me. It is not for sale. It is mine. So I emotionally get what they're saying. Meanwhile, in better news, some of Conan O'Brien's old Late Night Underground content made its way back to the internet. The Internet Archive just got some clips from Late Night Underground. That was a now-defunct website that brought viewers behind the scenes of Late Night with Conan. The site, run by long-term Conan team member Aaron Blayart, featured footage of antics from rehearsals and other fun moments during Conan's run on the NBC version of the show. Pretty robust for a Monday in the summer. Ricky Gervais has announced a new hour titled Ricky Gervais Mortality. He will film it for Netflix as part of the upcoming Mortality World Tour. You'll have to wait till 2025 to watch that one at home. Ricky Gervais in a statement said, we're all going to die. Might as well have a laugh about it. Mortality looks at the absurdities of life and death. Bring it on. I got an email from the Zombie Just for Laughs Montreal Comedy Festival. The headline, Dane Cook, Bassem Youssef, and more take the stage at, I'm not even going to attempt my French, Quarter Day Spectacles. Did I pronounce it right, Frenchies? I don't mean that with disrespect, but I'm rusty on my French. From July 18th to the 28th. I'm guessing here that what the new company is doing is they're honoring people that were signed. Like, I'm purely speculating, but I'm guessing they didn't wake up last week and book Dane Cook etc., that Dane was probably already booked, and they're like, we got to pay him the money anyway, and we might as well do a zombie comedy festival. Same thing with Bassem Youssef, Bobby Slayton, and some others. The emailer says you also won't want to miss the multi-comic shows such as the Soda series, Comedy Records presents at the Comedy Nest, and the Kickback Comedy Show. Some stuff for you to watch. I got an email Friday at 3 p.m. I was passed out in a chair in the yard and had already recorded the weekend, and I'm like, I'm not awake. So I shared it in the Facebook group. Hopefully you caught it. Not a big deal if you haven't heard about this until now. All right, John, what's the news? Gianmarco Soresi dropped a surprise 15-minute micro special. It's called A Little Something Special. He put that out Friday at 3. Why? Gianmarco explained, I'm releasing this today because politics moves fast, but comedy has to move even faster. I have some material about the world we live in literally today, and it's moving too fast to hold off for a proper release with lead time and prep and all that. We were out to dinner for my girlfriend's birthday last night, and we were seeing how sour the debate was going, noticing reactions online, and we were both like, oh my God, we got to move. So here it is, a little something special to lift our spirits for today. Yeah, he's got a few minutes about Biden in there. I watched it on Saturday night. It's fantastic. I wanted to reopen the can of worms of what is a special and what's just Gianmarco dropped 15 minutes on YouTube. And then I remembered a friend of the show, Jason Zinneman from the New York Times, telling me a couple weeks ago, don't worry about such things. And I'm like, okay, I won't worry about such things. Gianmarco is really good. While I was in that mode, I also put on Ronan Hirschberg's new special. It's fine. If you're in the mood for comedy, it's fine. It's just a generic comedian being a little bit loud, telling perfectly fine jokes. Nothing special there. It's not awful. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It just is. So you can watch that. I also put on Hannah Einbinder's special on Max. And I put a no lead comment on Facebook. I wrote something along the lines of, I have a very strong opinion about this. I just want to see if I'm insane. Did you guys watch it? And I didn't share what my opinion is. I'll share that in a second. Some of the Facebook feedback I got was that it's the special of the year. All right, John, flip over your card. I watched it thinking, she's not a good stand-up. I like her on Hacks. I was just watching that going, apparently, I don't like where HBO/Max is with comedy this year. I haven't liked a single thing they put out. I think maybe one thing they put out I liked. Whoever the tastemaker is over at HBO/Max and I are not aligned right now. I would much rather watch Gianmarco's 15 minutes 4 times than Hannah's. Just didn't think it was good. A reminder, if you would like this program ad-free, there's a link in the show notes, calaroga.com/plus. You'll get this one and the others on the network ad-free for $4.99. Another thing came out this weekend, and I just don't understand press PR people sometimes sitting out in the yard on Saturday afternoon, and suddenly, boom, the Lost Richard Lewis interview will stream via YouTube on late comedian's birthday, which was Saturday. Guys, promote this stuff in advance. I would have told you about it last week, but they just went, oh yeah, we're putting this out right now. Don't do that. Like, I understand why Gianmarco did it because he reacted to a news cycle, but like Richard Lewis's birthday didn't sneak up on anybody. Promote these things. Dropping this on a Saturday afternoon in the summer, you're not going to get any press about this. You're lucky this dopey podcast is mentioning it. An unseen interview that captures comedian Richard Lewis holding court at Greenblatt's Delicatessen in Hollywood. This interview was conducted in 2011 for the documentary Method to the Madness of Jerry Lewis. Filmmaker documentarian Greg Barson remembered it being one of the most hysterical interviews he ever conducted. He gave some quotage, I didn't want it to end because I was treated to a one-man private sit-down comedy extravaganza. Richard was truly an expert on comedy and its history, which made for an incredible interview about the great Jerry Lewis, and surprisingly, the interview is even more revealing about Richard Lewis. It's on Richard Lewis's YouTube channel if you want to check that out. The Houston Press caught up with Liz Miele. She says, I started performing when I was 16 years old. I've been writing and performing for 22 years now. I would just take the train into New York on the weekends when I was in high school and do whatever show would allow a 16-year-old on. I got kicked out of a lot of clubs. She released her latest special, Murder Sheets, on YouTube earlier this year. Let's listen.
I have a niece. Her name is Scout, which I think we can all agree is both a great name and a dog's name. She's 5 years old, and a couple of weeks ago, me and Scout attended my little brother's birthday party, and Scout wanted to sit next to me at dinner. And I don't know if you have nieces and nephews, but when they like you more than your siblings, it's the best feeling. Honestly, I'll fight for that feeling her entire life. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to buy her candy. I'm going to buy her drugs. I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Liz jokes, I'm starting to age, but for a while I didn't look my age even as an adult, so I looked really young as an adult. I feel fortunate that this community was like, yeah, tell your weird cat jokes, and I haven't stopped. It's funny, because some of the stand-up I'd seen when I was a teenager, my older sister went to George Washington University, so her school would have shows, and I think the rule in most cities was you can be under 21, so there were certain clubs that I could go to as a teenager, but I only saw a few shows before I started doing stand-up. She opened for the ever-so-serious Hari Kondabolu, but now tours with an opener of her own, Neil Rubenstein. Liz says he's been opening for me for years. He's brilliant, has a YouTube special of his own. But what I think I appreciated when I opened for Hari is that he's pretty political, and I talk about my feelings in cats. We're clearly friends, and I agree with his politics and who he is as a person, but I don't step on it because I do think an hour and a half on the same topic can get boring. So I think with Neil, her current opener, was really nice, is we're completely opposite humans, but I find him to be so funny, and he's such a good joke writer, and it prepares the audience to see such a well-crafted evening of jokes. I don't need someone to warm up the crowd by asking where people are from or be high energy, because neither of us are that. I want people to be there because they're excited to see jokes and not because I'm a clown. All right, looking ahead to the week, there's a Thursday, July 4th in the mix here. I'm planning on doing normal episodes all week, and I interviewed Alex Bennett. He got mentioned in the interview I had with Mike Chisholm from the Letterman podcast. Alex, a longtime radio host who was tapped into the comedy world in San Francisco. We talked for quite a bit. I have to clean that up, but that's my plan for at least Saturday's episode. But I will be around all week. I've got plenty of news. I have prepared for weeks of July 1 and July 8th to be thin. Usually the comedians disappear. You know, today was pretty robust for Monday, but I've got a lot of stuff squirreled away. So you'll get normal episodes throughout here. Check out Ballot. I already mentioned that. We're having a lot of fun on that one, and that one's picking up. A couple episodes ago, Joe Rogan had Tim Dillon on. Not that Rogan needs any promotion, but the Dillon episode, you guys have heard me say a million times. I think Tim Dillon is hilarious, but I'm going to distance myself when he finally gets canceled. But that's a really enjoyable listen as well. And that is your comedy news for today. See you tomorrow.